Hi, I'm Simon Whitehead, and what I'm going to do now out of the rabbits we've prepared is make some delicious bunny burgers. So the first job I've got to do is remove the sinew from the parts of the meat that I've took off the rabbit. Now, what I want to do is take the sinew off here, or like the silver skin, because it's not just going to impede the mincing process, but also if you cook it, it gets all hard and leathery and it'll detract from the beautiful taste of the burgers we're going to make. So to do that, I simply get the saddle, pick the end up on one finger, and then get your knife underneath and just have a little seesaw action, flip it over, and as you can see, all the silverfish or the sinew has been taken on, and all we're left with now is a delicious, huge, great big section of protein meat. And after I've taken the sinew off, I'm just going to dice them up. It just makes the mincing process a lot easier, because as we'll see in a little bit, I've got a vastly expensive mincer and I don't want to break it, so I'm going to reduce them even further into nice chunks. Right, so what we're going to do now is do the rear legs, exactly the same, but I just want to take the meat off here. So take the bone out, take the front part of the leg we're not going to use, and then once I've deboned it, I'll take the sinew off, chop it up and put it with the rest of the rabbits, and we're left with the meat. So what I'm going to do, like everything else, is take the sinew off there. So you go off there, nice up, and you'll notice different colours of the meat, and that's down to the muscles doing a different amount of work on the rabbit. The saddles are very pale, full of protein, and two of the muscles on the rear legs are pale, but there's one that'll be slightly more redder, and that's because of the work that they're doing. And a lot of people don't get to taste rabbit, or a lot of people have eaten rabbit cooked badly, or have had different experience with it, and if you haven't eaten rabbit, you should, but you can treat it when you're cooking it very similar to chicken. It's like people always go about the taste. Does it taste like chicken? No, because this is a rabbit and that will always taste like a rabbit. But if you want to have a close comparison, it will be a gamey, free-range chicken that's been fed everything that's been the waste from your kitchen. And when you're cooking at it, you treat it the same. This is a skill that is sort of we've lost over the last few generations, because this used to be taught from parents to sons and daughters and grandparents down, and everybody used to be able to make meals and buy meat, feed the family. Well, that's quickly been lost because we're living in an age of convenience where a lot of people believe they're too busy to cook their own food. They all want it to be self-prepared or the joints already prepared. They are intimidated by the thought of having to prepare a rabbit and take it off the bone. And it's a crime, really, because when you talk about sustainable sources of food, there's nothing that's more sustainable as rabbits. They're everywhere. They do what they want, they eat what they want, they go where they want, and this is all transferred through to the meat. And this is one of the main reasons why a lot of people are going back into utilising this and eating rabbit. Not just because, like I said, because of the health benefits, it's because it is readily available. If you know anybody that can go out there, or you can go to a butcher or a game dealer. In this day and age of so much available technology, there is no excuse for not finding anywhere that sells game for you to prepare and for you to eat and enjoy. Now we've got the rabbit meat diced up in the tub. Because it's a very lean meat, and to make it fuse together when we're cooking it, I need to add a degree of fat, generally 80-20. So what I'm using is the fat from some sausages, and the sausage meat as the fat. Of course, we went to great lengths to take the sinew off the rabbit meat, so we're going to do exactly the same with the sausages. We're going to take the skins off the sausages. You don't want that, you want that. Now I'm going to put the active ingredients in the rabbit meat. I've got some apples, because apple and rabbit go together, some onion, some Himalayan pink salt, basil, paprika, some black pepper, and of course the secret recipe, which isn't secret because it's sweet pickle, and some breadcrumbs to fuse it all together once it's been minced up. So to do that, I have to mince first, which is where I introduce the highly expensive mincer. Now this is again Not everybody that's going to do this has got the ability or wants to buy a very expensive mincer, but at the end of the day, they all do the same job. So I go to a reputable hardware store or a home furnishing store or a supermarket and pay a grand sum of £10 and get myself a mincer like this. And because we're only doing a few pieces of the rabbit, we're not doing a massive stag or venison or boar, we don't need to. And what we're trying to do is replicate these recipes so people can go out, buy rabbit, get rabbit and cook them themselves. And if we make everything available and easily to get over the internet or to the shops, more people are going to try rabbit. These are sold at being idiot proof. Make sure you turn it the right way, clockwise. Very important, because then that makes the blades work correctly. These are obviously sold with a plunger, so you're not putting your fingers in a mincer, but unfortunately I don't happen to find it at the minute. So with great care, and because it's a hand mincer, I can get away with stopping it. You can put big chunks of apple and onion in if you want, but sometimes you might want to try and I put it in there so it can be evenly spread, so you're not getting one or two burgers with more onion or apple in. What we're going to do now is obviously put them into the burgers, and there's the way I'm going to do it now that has evolved, and there's the way you can do it at home. Now what we're going to do is measure equally the burgers and then put the discs around them and press them into the shape. Now what I'm using here is a burger press, and to measure the rabbit out to make sure it's right, I'm using a large ice cream scoop. Now the reason I like using this and not an ice cream scoop like this or a large spoon is that this is going to empty it out for you when you put it on, and a rabbit burger in there is generally just under a quarter pounder, so I can get the consistency right. Being a ferreter, being a rabbiter, and having the ability to harvest your food, it is refreshing to be involved in educating people on not just why we do it, but you know, the end result. Because a lot of people just see us going out ferreting or shooting or stalking, but they very rarely used to see the second phase of what we do, which is, you know, honouring an animal's life. Because we have taken an animal's life, we have to do it. It's a management plan, but it's not wasted. And the byproduct, as I call it, of my ferreting business is succulent, nutritious, protein-laden meat. If you use the first one as a taster, so you can see how much pressure you need to put down for your particular mix, because like the ingredients and the rabbit, everything is unique to each different batch. I'll put the burgers on the tray and I'm going to put them in the oven, 180 degrees-ish for about 20 minutes-ish. It all depends on the size of your burgers, so obviously the thinner the burger, the quicker they're going to cook. You can pan fry them if you want, but again, like the ingredients we put in the burgers, it's all down to personal preference. Yep, perfect. What I'm going to do now, a little bit of rocket, bit of cheese, tomato and a burger. Layer it, put it in between the bun for people to enjoy. Personal preference again. Sometimes you can put a little bit of bacon on top, but we're putting a little bit of cheese. So we're going to start off by having the tomato, then a little bit of rocket, and there we have a couple of bunny burgers. Well, there we have it. Easy step how to make your own bunny burgers. We've made it accessible, understandable, and it's of course delicious. It's hard work making these, even harder harvesting them, so bottoms up.
Joining the National Gamekeepers organisation is a choice for all shooters and gamekeepers. Help promote, protect gamekeeping, conservation and shooting as we know it today. Get on the front foot. Support an organisation that will defend what you love and we do. NGO membership comes with £10 million of third-party liability, a dedicated firearms licensing team, legal support, as well as many other members' benefits. Be part of Britain's biggest conservation movement.